basically in it. So for the video audience, I'm going to start showing deck lists now, and let's
Sure,
just start talking about the new decks that are kind of making waves here in the first 2 days of Darkmoon. Starting with that control warlock that I mentioned, because this is like the most played. Everything with a grain of salt. Stats are low, but this one is most games played. And also just very new. Like there's a lot of new stuff going on here with Warlock, which shouldn't be a huge surprise. Warlock, maybe not the most popular class for the last expansion. But it is, I mean, it's basically a control lock at the end of the day, but it's kind of, to me, it feels a little greatest hitsy because there's definitely hand lock flavor to this. And it's also just kind of a demon Warlock list, which I don't think we've used that term since GVG.
Well, it reminds me a whole lot of like the Skull of Menagerie Rin control warlock from like that era of Hearthstone, because except like it almost works. It works better, I would say, than that version because you destroy big chunks of your opponent's deck kind of in phases that happen in the mid to late game, and then you force your opponent into fatigue versus like the Rin decks, where you had to like spend all that mana and play all those little demons and stuff, which then when you would play the Gul'dan hero, they would all come back, and that was great. So you got this like value later on, as well as destroying your opponent's deck. But most of the time you were destroying somewhere in the realm of like 3 to 6 cards. Whereas with this deck, with Ticketus, because he gets corrupted, you get a version back of him with Y'Shaarj. So he gets corrupted. You can play the corrupted version. It dies. You get it back again. You play it again. You've destroyed 10 cards from your opponent's deck. So I think it's a little bit more impactful. And I really, really enjoyed it, but it reminds me a whole lot of that like Frozen Throne Rin Warlock era.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. And like the deck can also just get there without doing any of the mill shenanigans with Ticketus. Probably more than half of my games, Ticketus was like my last 3 cards. And I was like, God,
yeah.
But you just make
which can
minions.
happen.
Yeah. You like Void Drinker. It's not hard to get soul fragments into your deck, so it's going to be a chonky boy. You're also running freaking Valdris, so you're increasing your hand size. You're drawing a ton of cards, and this is running Abyssal Summoner, so you're making giant demons with taunt because of your hand size, and that's where that hand lock piece comes in. Strongman, a new neutral that just came in with Darkmoon, if you don't remember, is the 6/6 taunter that costs 7 mana, but if you corrupt it, it's only 0. And this runs Twisting Nether. And so it is such a huge swing turn. Like such a
to go twisting into double these.
Yep. Yep. Hell, even one of them. In the mirror match, at least a few I've run into, I've just been putting one down because I'm like, I know you too have Twisting Nether, you bastard. So I'm just going to put one out and see what happens. Which I'm not sure is right or not. Take everything today with a grain of salt.
As someone who dumped her whole hand and went, deal with this, and had the opponent go Twisting Nether, and then, I felt real bad. I would say, going all in, not necessarily the right play. So
yeah. I don't have a ton to say about the new Totem Shaman list, other than I am also in love with it, and just want to tease because, like, you've been right like 7 times for cards I've poo-pooed on, and I think this is the first instance I can remember of me being like, no, I think this is really good, and you're being like, I think it's okay.
I thought, it was an eh.
Yeah,
but it was a this would be fine in Totem, but I didn't know if it was going to be like good enough. But I find, especially with Tour Guide from Scholomance, you usually have a few totems on board by the time, like if you can get this down on turn 3. It's really good.
It's super solid. I have not had particularly good outcomes with just playing it on curve. Unless it's on curve with the coin and lightning bloom. And so on turn 3, I have 6 mana and can also totemic reflection it. Those games, I've won by turn 5.
See, I tend to or at least the curve that I had success with was Tour Guide and Totem on 1, Totem on 2, this on 3 with the totemic might. No, Surge. Wait, which one's the one that gives them the booty? Whichever one gives him the booty, that's the one to play. So might. More health.
I mean, you also have like all the stuff that was working for Totem Shaman before eys'or hit the scene. Like you can just get a big totem board early, eys'or not necessary, and just roll over. And you just need to recognize that you have the pieces. Because if this deck can get on board early, there are very few classes that can do a damn thing about it. Have you tried Spell Druid?
No, I have not tried Spell Druid yet. Although I did see a couple people playing Spell Druid against me.
I did too, and I'm really interested in it. I guess we're also referring to it as Clown Druid, but also you can see how many damn cards I didn't crack because I'm logged into my
I
HSV
feel
play
like
right
that's probably the Carnival Clown is probably the most surprising card for me in this set that I didn't really see being a big deal, but I've seen so many people play this thing against me now, and it's such a pain, especially, oh my God, in Druid, when they can get a survival of the fittest or two out on this guy, like it's just a whole board of like 8/8s, and you're like, but why?
now. Oh yeah, God help you if they get both their survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And they haven't played their freaking clowns yet. Like just silly. Or actually, I guess it wouldn't matter because it's also Battlefield. But
yeah.
This was a sleeper for me too. This is completely. I remember like looking at it and being like, what a clown. And then moving right along, and then completely.
Well, yeah, we didn't really
talk.
We didn't talk too much about the neutral cards in general. So this one really flew under my radar, and on top of him being
he's on a tightrope, so it would have been above your radar.
Wow. Okay. Hat in the chat room is going to be really happy about that joke. But yeah, you get to play the 2 copies because it's an epic. So you can play the 2 copies and then get them back with y'Y'Shaarj and then just have more boards full of 8/8s or 12/12s because why not? Just Druid things.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I had a rogue, I think, play it against me. I had a mage play it against me. I had the Druid play it against me. And even as and I think actually the other Warlock had Carnival Clowns in his deck too in the mirror match that I played. And even just as a board full of 4/4s, they're just so annoying.
Oh, yes. It really gums up the work, slows things down.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not also a board wiping control deck, like, what are you going to do? Tell me about what you're referring to as Enhancement Shaman. This is news to me. I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, so the Enhancement Shaman deck is very weapon focused, and it basically works by just like attacking your opponent's face with your face. This is like giving me super old school Shaman vibes because it's got things like Doomhammer Rockbiter. Like, when's the last time you remember that being core to Shaman?
This is so cute. It's a Shaman cosplaying as a demon hunter.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes along with the new legendary in our Storm Crash with the whole give +2 attack and Wind Fury on your turn. And it's not a battle cry. It's just a persistent effect. So if you can somehow like protect her, like just every turn, it's like you have a Rockbiter weapon equipped, like, or sorry, not Rockbiter, Doomhammer. And yeah, it's really fun. It's kind of different than a lot of what Shaman has been doing. It's quite aggressive. It plays what's the, oh man, now I can't remember the one that Voracious Reader. I was like the one that refills your hand at the end of your turn. Yeah. So Voracious Reader, I think it does top out at the 5-mana Doomhammer type area. So it is very like aggressive, very quick, very, again, hit your opponent's face with your face.
Yeah, it's some
and kind of enhance your weapons.
Face on face action.
Yes, the face on face action.
Say that slowly. Like, am I saying something I don't want to be saying? Yeah. Well, thank you for suggesting a Shaman deck that I want to go play. I brought something just for you, Jocelyn. It's a new Demon Hunter deck. It's actually,
honestly,
it's
okay,
not
Garrett,
new.
I will tell you, you can probably go back. I'm sure somebody clipped it. I played against a Demon Hunter last night and almost quit Hearthstone. Ooh. Il'gynoth should never have been printed. I was so mad.
Yeah, he's just slotting right into like Soul Shard Demon Hunter lists, and working just fine. just
it's so fine. Gross, and I hate it.
It turns out, Joss, Eldrazi Warblades are indeed still in the game.
Yeah, and it wasn't even, the thing that really got me is that it wasn't even the Eldrazi Warblades, although obviously that's a thing that we talked about when Il'gynoth was first talked about. Like Il'gynoth, I want everyone to understand, Il'gynoth is a very, very, very good card. It's broken and busted. And the reason it's broken and busted is because they, like, when I say it shouldn't have been printed, it's not because I think it's a bad card. I think it's too good. It interacts with lifesteal. And like I said before the expansion came out, lifesteal was never balanced against like the ability to deal damage. It's something they talked about a lot in Priest with the, like in the Anduin days where it was like, oh, now your spells can do damage instead of healing. And then they ended up getting rid of a lot of that stuff because it didn't feel great. Those spells were never were never created with their numbers balanced against being offensive. And that's basically how lifesteal works. So I got like 48 damage in one turn dealt to me based on them playing Il'gynoth and then the 1 mana spell alongside a bunch of those artificers that increase spell damage. So it was the 1 mana, deal 1 damage to a minion and its neighbors. I can't remember what the name of the Demon Hunter spell is. And it ended up doing 8 damage to each minion. And then they did that once to my board, once to their board. And I was like how am I even supposed to, like, what? And it was really, really, really frustrating and felt the most unbalanced of anything I played against last night. And I know I don't love Demon Hunter anyways, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but it felt so bad. It was the worst experience that I've had playing Hearthstone. I was just like, why does this exist?
Yeah, I haven't seen a Priest since expansion launch, so I cannot confirm nor deny.
Actually, I haven't either, and I thought Priest was going to be crazy good.
Yeah, but even like pre Darkmoon, like Demon Hunter was my second least favorite class to lose against. To me, I think I pinpointed Blade Dance. Blade Dance drives me up a wall because they can get so much damage on their face. Then they play Blade Dance, your whole board dies, and then they crack you for so much damage. It's insane. And they probably have Eldrazi Warblades, so they healed for that, how much damage they hit you for. Like that is just, I'm just like, come on. Where's the risk and the risk reward of Demon Hunter? That to me, I think is where what I've kind of drilled down into is like the thing I kind of stare at and makes me fume. Well, okay. All right. I'll stop torturing you now. Tell me about Shuffle Rogue.
Okay, so this is something I'm actually super excited about. This is what I was trying to build last night and totally failing. But I think the issue that I was running into is that I was I had this, I was calling it Wonka Rogue because I cracked open 2 golden ticket masters, which meant all of the tickets going into my deck were golden. So I was like, we have to call this Wonka Rogue, right? For the golden tickets, right?
I mean, if you were in Willy Wonka, you would actually be the only person to get 2 golden tickets instead of 1. So this tracks. All right. I'm following along. Continue.
So there's the kind of cool combination that I think we were talking about before the expansion launched, of the Ticketmaster alongside Grand Empress, because basically you play the Ticketmasters and then they put the tickets in your deck. Then you can choose the ticket when you play Grand Empress, and then it will draw all the copies of the tickets in your deck, summon 3/3s of the most like adorable and terrifying little teddy bears ever. Like it's a really excellent card art.
Little Five Nights at Freddy's going on.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And then, but because you're like the way that the tickets work is like anything that like cast when drawn effects, it also then will refill your hand. So you could be getting like anywhere from 3 to 6 3/3 bears on board alongside your Grand Empress, as well as like a full hand refill. So that was the like kind of core, I guess, combo that I was going for with my deck. But then I got super excited about Y'Shaarj. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to fill the whole rest of stuff with just spells, and Y'Shaarj will be like my backup win condition. So I was building for fun, and that was my mistake. So I think this version that we've linked in the show notes is actually probably a lot better version. It really leans into the idea of just shuffling stuff into your deck, drawing a lot of cards, using things like Secret Passage to pull not only the tickets out, but then there's also, oh shoot, what's the other one? Oh, I'm totally blanking on it. But there's other cards that put different things back into your deck, and then do the whole cast when drawn thing. So it's this whole like constantly, almost like cycling through your deck mechanic. It's a really cool rogue deck, which, I mean, how often have you guys heard me say that? Shadow of Death is the card I'm thinking of. The choose a minion and shuffle 3 shadows into your deck that summon a copy when drawn.
Oh man, now I feel dumb because I mentioned it last week when we were talking about Shek'Zara. But yeah, this you're selling me on another one. You know what also seems to be working, at least when I've run into it on ladder, is Menagerie Warrior. Not the highest win rate at the moment, but again, pretty low damn games played. But yeah,
I haven't seen this one at all. So
yeah, I ran into this a couple times.
How does this happen?
I ran into this a couple times today. It works kind of exactly like we were expecting it to when we were discussing Ringmaster Watley last week. And if for a refresher, that's the new legendary and warrior, the 5-mana 3/5, that battle cry, draw mech, draw dragon, draw a pirate all at once on that one battle cry. No conditions whatsoever. You just get these cards drawn. So it's targeted draw, and then it's running those new mechs, dragons, and pirates that warrior got. But also, like, it's got some basic pirates in there. It's like running a one of South Sea Captain, because I completely forgot it's warrior. They still have Ankar. So yes. You need more than one pirate because you're going to draw more than one pirate. And it seems cool. Like, I want to play this deck. This is one I haven't had a chance to get around to, but I did run up against it a few times. And also,
does it have no old gods though?
It has no old gods. Sorry.
Oh, sad face.
It's called Madness at the Darkmoon Faire, not Old Gods 2 Electric Eyeball Goo.
Alu. Eyeball goo.
Okay.
Gross.
Yeah. So
gross.
There you have it. Okay. But yeah, it's running Watley. It's running Ringmaster's Baton. Both cards I did not get, and so it's a 2 of Epic and a 1 of Legendary, and I am out of dust already. So not salty at all. But it seems fun. Again, like, as someone who I just like drawing things. I really like drawing targeted things. So a deck that already runs Ankar, which is already targeted draw, but also includes Ringmaster Watley, which is like crazy awesome targeted draw. Like, I want to play this, and it's, kind of got this Menagerie thing, and it appears to more or less be working. Again, I haven't run into a ton, and there's not a ton of statistics on it, but it impressed me the couple games that I went up against it. But finally, and I'm so glad you included this because I haven't seen any of this, a new Deathrattle Hunter list.
Oh my God. I came up twice against a hunter and I was like, oh man, like, this is going to be face hunter. They're going to be taking advantage of the fact that everyone's trying to do like combo and like big, crazy, cool new day one deck things. And both of them were Deathrattle. And oh my God, this looks like, first of all, so much fun. Also kicked my butt. So there's kind of 2 different versions that I found deck lists for. So I'll put them both in the show notes. One of them is by Orange, and you guys know we're huge Orange fans here. So obviously I had to talk about this one. It is pretty expensive. It does have a lot of legendaries in it. But the one that I've actually seen on ladder is actually by A-Rock, I think. And this one has like even all the way back to, what's it? Ursatron. This thing's running Ursatrons. It's very like Deathrattle, like mechy. It's making use of a lot of new stuff too. It's got secrets, and it kind of, it just obviously revolves all around, Deathrattles, triggering Deathrattles, pulling and cheating out Deathrattles. And that is enabled a whole lot because of the Darkmoon Tonk. So this is the one that was featured in like the very first reveal video when they started doing all of the community reveals. It's the 7 mana 8/5 Deathrattle. Fire 4 missiles at random enemies that deal 2 damage each, which, as you know, a 7 mana card, maybe not so much, but because it's that Deathrattle text, there are so many ways to like trigger this that don't actually involve it like being in play, which is just, and obviously it's a mech, which is where the Ursatron synergy comes in. There's also Oblivitron, which is another one that comes from that same Ursatron expansion. I think it was Rise of Shadows. So this is like old school hunter cards that are coming into play now.
Oblivitron refresher. It's the 6 mana 3/4 legendary hunter mech. Deathrattle. Summon a mech from your hand and trigger its Deathrattle.
Which is where
Tonk.
it's disgusting with the Tonk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even if you manage to kill the Tonks, you're still going to take that second round of those missiles damage when you get this 8/5 off the board. You don't really want it to just stay there, because if it just stays there, then you're taking 8 damage just from an 8/5 minion hitting your face. So it's like you have to pick the lesser of two evils. But then if it dies, this deck has Jewel of N'Zoth, which is summon 3 friendly Deathrattle minions that died this game. And that thing is not legendary. It's epic. So they can do this multiple times. And I just sat back and I was like, okay, well, you got me, Hunter. Like, just, yeah, there's nothing going on here that I can deal with. So congratulations, because they also have 9 lives. That's the other Deathrattle card. Again, another Rise of Shadow card that is a 3 mana spell. Discover a friendly Deathrattle minion that died this game and trigger its Deathrattle. So there's lots of, it has to get on board and then die, but that did not seem to be a problem for either one of the hunters I ran into that were running this deck. So I'm going to give this a shot because this just seems crazy. And I love the new secret too. Open the cages. When your turn starts, if you control 2 minions, summon an animal companion. This secret's pretty nuts.
I mean, at the end, like value proposition wise, it's a 1 mana cheaper animal companion that has a condition, right? It's going to be delayed and will not always pop when you necessarily want it to, but it's still at the start of your turn. So if you get Huffer, you're going to get value out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't see what's not to like here.
Well, yeah, I mean, the animal companions just are very good for their cost, right?
I mean, everyone dumps on Misha, and I think it's very mean, but yes.
Poor Misha. So yeah, there's a lot of ways. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of interesting early and mid game in this deck. It also runs Ace Hunter Kreen, although I think maybe that's kind of a flex spot. I think that there's some things you can do that are
your other characters being
outside the box here,
like with the Deathrattle deck. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, like if Tonk's still on board though, you're still like taking 8 to the face. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Is it the worst thing in the world? So maybe Ace Hunter Kreen, like it's what like is not a bad thing for your minions to still be alive, unless you're against a mage and they're frozen and you can't do jack with them. Which, oh man, I had some freezing going on against some mages today, but it's okay. I kept burning.
Yeah, so it has like the kind of secret package, which means there's some flexibility with the secrets that you might want to be including. Those are all kind of open to being swapped. There's a lot of stuff in the kind of mid game too. It runs this like crazy mech Deathrattle package that just absolutely destroyed. I think Darkmoon Tonk it's just such a good card.
Yeah, there's some really cool decks. There's a nice mix, at least at the front, of things that caught my attention that are like seem completely new, whole new archetypes, and things that we've been playing with for a while that got just a little bit more of support. Unfortunately for Jocelyn, one of them is Soul Demon Hunter, but fortunately for me, like freaking waking up on Christmas morning, Totem Shaman's another one. So my first day with this expansion has been just so overtly positive.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fun to be had, and it'll settle out. But I think that there's pretty much something for every class to play in this expansion. I think
I
that
agree.
Seems to be decently powerful. Like I said, I haven't run into any priests yet, but There's some stuff that I think could be really powerful over on their side.
Yeah. Well, we're going to link to all of these decks that we mentioned here today in our show notes. If you've never checked it out before, go to theangrychicken.com. You'll end up at our blog where we actually post the podcast. I don't know if you know how RSS feeds work, but that's where it is. It's the heart of the show. Go there, find the episode 392 post, and we will have not only the show notes linked at the bottom, but if I remember, I'll actually just link directly to these decks in the actual body itself. If I forget, politely remind me on Twitter, everybody, please and thank you. But anyways, that's all great.
You can subscribe to The Angry Chicken on all your favorite podcast apps like Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss another Angry Chicken video.